Welcome to the Reify Online Learning Hub. In this lesson, we'll show you how to quickly and easily build powerful relationships between data sources. Relations are links between records of different data sources, such as a link from a sale to the salesperson that made the sale. To create a relation, you add a special field to a data source, which stores a unique identifier for records from another data source. For example, a sales record could have a field that stores a unique identifier for the salesperson that made the sale. When you create a relation field, Reify automatically knows how to edit that relation and makes it easy to display data from related records. In this instance, when you're looking at sales, you want to show information about the salesperson, such as their name, the territory they cover, or contact details. So let's get started. We've already created two data sources for you, sale and salesperson, which we will build a relationship between so that they can be used together. We've already selected the sale data source for you, so just click Edit. In the Data Source Editor, you can define validations, security settings, formatting rules, and more. So, let's add a relationship between sale and salesperson so that they're aware of each other. Click on the Relations button to define this relationship. In the Relations Editor, you'll see a list of the current relations that have been built over this data source. Adding a new relation is simple. Click on the Related Data Source drop-down to pick the salesperson data source. For relation type, each salesperson may have multiple sales, so select that option. To connect the two objects together, we need to pick a value that identifies the common link between them. A good example of this would be the order number of an order being used to retrieve all relevant order lines. In our case, every salesperson record has a unique ID, and every sale record has the ID of the salesperson who made the sale. So we need to tell Reify which field of the sale record stores this relation. That is, the ID of the salesperson that made the sale. We store the ID of the salesperson record in the salesperson ID field, which we have already selected for you. Now that we've defined the relation, we can tell Reify what to display when the relation field is viewed. In most cases, this will be the name of the related object. For example, if we were defining a relation to a customer, we would pick the customer name field. Clicking the Display As drop-down shows a list of available fields to select from. In our scenario, we want to show the actual salesperson's name, so select the full name field. Then click the Add Relation button to save it. To finish up, click the Save button to save all relations and exit the Relations Editor. You can now see the salesperson ID field is listed as a relation to the salesperson data source. Plus, there's a new field, Salesperson Full Name, which is shown as an included field. This field pulls full name from the related salesperson record, so that it can be used as a display value. Okay, now that we've created the relation, we can add more fields from the salesperson record that we want to be included in the sale record when we use it in lists and forms. Let's add the email address by clicking the Include Field button. The relation to salesperson is the only relation, so it's already selected. So just click on the field drop-down so we can choose which field from the salesperson we want to include, and select Email, then Save. Notice how the email field has been added to the sale data source? There's no limit to the number of relations or included fields that you can add. Our data source is now ready to use, so let's save to finish up. To show the power of relations, we'll quickly build a small application to show relations working, to show how Reify automatically knows what to display and how to edit relations. For our small application, we want to see a list of salespeople on the left, the sales for each salesperson on the right, and the details of the sale at the bottom. So we'll use a triple pane as the main layout, which we'll add with a double click. First, we'll show the list of salespeople in the left pane, known as the navigation pane. So drag a list grid onto it and bind it to the salesperson data source with a double click. We now want to show the list of sales in the right pane, known as the list pane. So let's do that by double clicking the list grid and then bind it to the sales data source again with a double click. Finally, we need to add a form to the detail pane, so select a table layout form by double-clicking, and bind it to the sale data source again with a double click. And that's it! We've created a fully functioning 3-pane application with related data. So let's see what our application looks like. Click the preview icon to see our application in action. Click on the first record, Bob Smith. Notice how the records in the grid and the list pane have dynamically been filtered to only show sales associated with Bob Smith. This is because Reify knows that these two objects are related by the salesperson ID, so automatically fetches the correct related data. Also note that the email field has been automatically added to the grid. Next, let's click on the first sales record in the list pane grid, Bob's Building Incorporated, and you'll notice how the record is automatically loaded into the form. Finally, click on the Salesperson field in the form to get a list of all salespeople. As you can see, the relationship we set up works both ways. We can see all sales by a salesperson and also see all salespeople that can be associated with a sale. Adding and using relations in Reify is both simple and powerful. Whatever kind of application you're building, you can use this same straightforward approach to declare the relationships between objects. Once you declare the relationship, Reify automates the details of display and editing, immediately giving you a fully functional UI. Then you can customize from there. Congratulations, you completed the tutorial. Reify is a new kind of low-code platform, one you can use on every project, not just for the simple ones. Reify is a radically faster, radically better way to work. Try Reify today for free.